All right, so today we're going to be writing equations. And on the first part, they are giving you the y-intercept and the slope. So this is something we've actually been doing kind of on the last few assignments where it's y equals mx plus b. So anytime that they give you the slope and the y-intercept, all you got to do is plug it in uh, for m and b. So y-intercept. So in this case, the thing you want to be careful on here where they try to trick you is they put them backwards. And so they put the y-intercept first and the slope second. Why do you think they put it backwards? Because they're hoping that you'll put this in for m right here, and then the slope you'll put at the back, and that you choose something like b. So be careful. So the slope is -2. -2 goes next to x. So it's not going to be this. Not going to be that. It's not going to be that. The only one that put the slope, which is -2 next to x, was a. So just make sure you're careful and that you don't rush this. Make sure the slope is going next to x. This next word problem is actually maybe just a touch out of place, but we can go ahead and talk about it. We probably won't actually dive into questions like this for a while. There are no keywords that I have taught you as of right now. So, guessing C on this, if I don't teach you any keywords, would be kind of what I would do. However, I'm going to teach you a keyword. And I'll teach you a few keywords about this later on. But right now, just to speed things up today, we're just going to teach you this keyword right here, and that's per. And so usually, I won't say always, but usually when you see the word per, that means it goes next to x. And so this is a slope word right here. And so when we see per, then I know that 15 is probably my slope. And so take a look at your answers. And do you see any 15s that are next to x? Oh, right there is the only one. And that's my answer. Okay. Now, that being said, if more than one of these would have been next to x, 15 next to x, then the number that's left over would have been what we call the y-intercept. And so that 50, which is what's here right here, is the y-intercept. All right. So those two really aren't our main focus today. This is our main focus today. And so there's a couple of things I want you to see here. First off, I want you to see that this is multiple choice. And that's very important, because if this wasn't multiple choice, then this right here is quite a bit of work. You're going to, you would have to write out a lot of different stuff to get this answer. And don't get me wrong, y'all have the skills to be able to do it. But right now, my main concern is just that we're able to get the answer. And then later on during the year, especially after the STAR, then I'll come back and I'll spend more time on doing this by working it out. So first off, how do I know that I can put this in the calculator? Now, this part I have taught y'all. However, I don't think that, we've dealt with questions where the y equals, so this is the part is the y equals, but we've never dealt with the question where the y equals is in the answers. And so usually we're looking for y equals up here in the problem. But as a good test taker, very quickly my eyes went to my answers, and in my answers I'm like, whoa, those are y equals right there. And so I am completely going to work backwards on this problem. If these are y equals, I can type them into the calculator. And when we've done this before, we can type in the x's and we can check to see if it contains these 2 points. And so if it doesn't contain those 2 points, then it's not my answer. If it does contain these 2 points and it has to contain both, then that is my answer. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to take these y equals equations and plug them into our calculator. So because it's y equals, we go to graphs. And so when we go to graphs, remember, this is our y equals. Okay, so we don't plug in y equals. We're going to do -7x minus 18. So minus 7x minus 18 and hit enter. All right, now I need the point to pop up down here. So how do I get that point to pop up? Menu 5.1. So menu 5.1 is our tracer, but it makes this point pop up right here, and that's what we're interested in. So now we need to check these points. So we're going to type in the x, that's what we control is the x, and then see if we get the y. So we'll type in -3, and I will tell you that if it would have been -3, you still need to check the other one because there are many lines that could contain that one point, but there's only one line that can contain both. However, this doesn't match. So -3, that doesn't match. Now, instead of typing in a brand new graph, we can actually edit this one. And so if we hit tab and then go up, it takes me back to my equation. So you hit tab and then you go up. Now we can edit this. And so let's switch it to B, which B just simply changes that to a +18. So I'm just going to arrow over, delete this and switch it to a +18 and hit enter. And then menu 5.1. Now nothing showed up, but I know I hit menu 5.1. So just simply type in the number. So I'm going to type in -3 and look, it pops up, but that's still not my answer. So we're going to hit tab again and go edit this. Now I always get some kids that are like, oh my gosh, this is ridiculous. I got to do too much. And looks like now we're going to change that to a +7 and we'll keep that. And what I always tell kids is, what's too much is taking the STAR test like 5 or 6 times. This right here, taking a problem that should be really hard and making it easy by typing it into the calculator, that's not too much. Now, yes, you may have to type in all these equations, but there's nothing difficult about this. So menu 5.1, we're going to type in -3 and okay, -3, -3. So now let's look at the other one is -2. So -2, and it says -2 and +4, and that's what we got. So there's only one equation. And so as soon as you find that equation that contain both of those points, that's your answer. You do not need to go type in the rest. Okay. However, you do need to make sure that so like if C didn't work, you wouldn't just pick D. You need to type it in and see it because sometimes you mistype something and that's why you didn't realize it was the answer. So you always need to make sure you type it in and confirm that you got those 2 points. All right. So this also applies to tables because a table is nothing but a point, right? And so in this case, these are my X's right here, and I'm checking my Y's down here on the bottom. Technically, you only need to check 2 of these. However, it never hurts to check a couple more just because it goes pretty quickly. All right, so once again, how do I know that this is a calculator thing? It's not these points. I looked really quick. I'm just, I've done this for a while. So for you guys, you got to make sure that after you look at this, that you look at your answers. Okay, if you don't look at your answers, then you're probably going to think this is slope. It's not slope. It's wanting an equation. And so we're going to be typing in all these right here, and then we're going to check these 2 X's. So I'm going to start with A. So it's X -5. Remember that every time that you start a brand new graph, that you start a brand new problem, you start a brand new graph. Okay. And so I think we said X -5. All right. So we hit enter. We're going to hit menu 5.1 because I need that point to appear. I will remind you that menu 5.1 is not magic fairy dust. I get kids that think that the answer will magically appear. No, this is allowing us to type in and check these numbers. So we got -1 here, and we're going to see if it's 4. So I'm going to type in -1 and see if it's 4. Nah, it's not. Too bad. So we're going to go look at B. So for B, we're going to just simply switch this to a minus. So we're going to hit tab and go up, and then go switch that to a minus. Hit enter, menu 5.1. And it actually remembered that we typed in -1. And so it put up -4. Well, that's close, but I need a +4. Okay. Now I will give you a little hint here. if you ever get the number that you wanted, but if you get the number, but the sign is opposite, okay? So I say the number you wanted, it was 4, but the sign was opposite, then change both of the signs. So if they're both minus, I need them both to be plus. You know, if one was negative and one was positive, then they would both switch, okay? So in this case, I need them both to be plus, which happens to be C. So let's go plug it in. So we'll hit tab and go up. We're going to change the signs of both of these. To make it positive, just simply delete the negative. Hit enter. We'll go menu 5, 1. And sure enough, it remembered it. And 1 and 4. And then negative 3 and 2. So minus 3, hit enter. Negative 3 and 2. Okay. So C is our answer. C was our answer last time too. You're going to be like, oh, I should guess C anytime I need something. All right, so clear this. Okay, now on this, notice we still got y equals. Now remember, I can only plug this in because it says y equals. If it didn't say y equals, then we might be in trouble. So we can only plug this in because it's y equals, all right, which we can do. This time they only give me 1 point. Now, if you have been learning that slope, when y is by itself, is always next to x, you're going to get to eliminate 2 options. Okay, so when I look at this, it says the slope is negative 4 over 3. Well, B doesn't have a negative 4 over 3, and neither does C. So I've narrowed it down to these 2 options right here. Okay, so that's kind of cool. So we've been working on it. And other questions, that was the first question we did today, was y equals mx plus b. Slope is always next to x when y is by itself. So if you know that, then you're getting to eliminate stuff. All right, so we're going to type this in, and now only got to check 1 point. Okay, so let's go type this in. We're going to start a brand new graph every single time. And we're typing in, I remember it being a fraction, but I forgot what it was. It was negative 4 over 3 minus 20 over 3. So minus 4 over 3 x minus 20 over 3. All right, now I know it's an ugly equation, but we don't really care because we're using menu 5.1 to do everything. Okay, and we're gonna go type in, what was it? Negative 8. So we're gonna type in negative 8 and see if it says 4. And it does. And so if you already match the slope and now you match the point, man, that's your answer. You don't have to check anything else. So negative 8 and 4 would be A. Okay. So this next one is actually a review equation. Okay. So this is actually review. Today we talked about Hoy and Vux. And Hoy and Vux dealt with special lines and slopes and equations. Well, zero slope is special. And so the O in the zero is Hoy. Okay. And so what does the Y mean? It means it's a Y equals equation. And you could say, well, all these are Y equals, but it can only have a Y. It's not allowed to have an X. So immediately we can mark off B and D. And so now it's which one is it? And I'll give you a little hint. The Y coordinate gives it away. We don't even need to type this into the calculator. The Y coordinate is 6. And it says y equals 6. That gives it away right there. Super easy questions. Anytime you see a zero slope or an undefined slope. So undefined, remember, will be Vux as you work on that one today. All right. And then this last one right here, you've got to get y by itself. And so we've been practicing that, so I'm going to let you do that. Now, we have not practiced this right here. And so we do need to, I'll do this one with you. So I'm going to write this out over here. Y plus 4 is equal to minus 3x, x plus 1. Now, the good news is this is 2 steps, just like this is just 2 steps. But this is a different two steps because it doesn't have y and x on the same side. So the first step is going to be to do mountaintops. So it's been a while since we've done these, but we've got to do our mountaintops. And so mountaintops mean to multiply. So you're going to multiply -3 times x and get -3x. And then -3 times 1 to get a -3. And then we'll bring down our y plus 4. And then we got one more step, and that is we got to get y by itself. So we're going to minus this 4. Now, where do I minus it? Well, it doesn't have a letter, so it's got to be multiplied with the other constant. And so we're going to get rid of that, and we got y equals -3x. Now, I will tell you that this is called point slope form. And in point slope form, and we'll talk more about this as the year goes on, this is your slope right here. So we actually, right off the bat, could have gotten rid of these two because it had the wrong slope. It didn't have a -3 slope. Okay, so it's down to these two right here, and -3 minus 4 would be -7. And so this would be our answer. This is kind of tough right here, okay? This is kind of tough. So if you struggle with this one, nothing wrong with that. And then that last question. So this one's kind of tough right here. The one thing I do know is it says that Pearl made a down payment of $98. So that's a one-time payment. And we'll pay the rest in 5 equal payments. Now, there's usually a key word that we have right here, 5 equal payments, okay? And we're going to learn more about this later, so this is kind of tough, but it would almost be like saying, that's kind of tough to think if I would say it. 5 equal payments means that you're going to make that payment 5 times, which is another way of saying that that's slope, and we would put it next to x. I'm trying to think of how I should say that, and that's tough. This is a tough question. So this would be a question that you'd probably get C on the test. I'd probably get C on it. And so let's see. If we got to have 5x right there. So it's not that, and it's not that. It's got to be one of the ones with 5x. And it says that he made a down payment of $98, and then he's going to make 5 more payments. So how much did he pay altogether? Well, we're going to add everything together to see how much he paid. So it would be D. That's just a tough question right there. All right. Well, I know this was kind of a long video, but hopefully this will help you get through today's assignment.